Let's be real. Navigating the US tax system can feel like trying to solve a giant puzzle with half the pieces missing. But for millions of people, there's a specific key that unlocks their ability to comply with the law. And that key is the Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, or ITIN. Today, we're going to break down what it is and, more importantly, how to get through the often tricky application process without any headaches. So, what is an ITN really? Well, it's a 9-digit number from the IRS, and you'll always know one because it starts with a 9. But here's the most important thing to get: it exists for one reason, and one reason only: to allow people who can't get a Social Security number to file their taxes. It's not a work permit, it has nothing to do with immigration status. It's purely a tax processing number. And you might be surprised by just how many different people need one. We're talking about a really broad group. It includes undocumented workers who need to report what they've earned, sure, but also foreign investors with U.S. rental properties, and even some students and spouses who are here completely legally but just don't qualify for a Social Security number. All of them use an ITIN to stay on the right side of U.S. tax law. All right, here's our game plan. We've just covered the what. Next, we're going to talk about why the application process can feel like a gauntlet. Then we'll walk through the 3 biggest mistakes that get people rejected. And finally, we'll cover how you can get it right the first time. Okay, so I called this process a gauntlet. Why? Because applying for an ITN isn't as simple as just filling out a form and sending it in. It's a serious challenge with some very, very specific rules. And if you get even one of them wrong, you could be looking at long delays or just a flat-out rejection. You know, I found this fantastic analogy that just makes the whole thing click. Think about it like you're trying to board an international flight. Your application, that's the Form W-7, well, that's your plane ticket. But you can't get on the plane with just a ticket, right? You also need your passport. Those are your original identity documents. And finally, you need a visa for where you're going. And that's your completed tax return. If you're missing any one of those 3 pieces, you're not getting through the gate. Simple as that. So let's dive into that first common pitfall, which ties right back into that travel analogy. It's all about having the right documents in the right format. And here it is. This is, hands down, the single biggest reason applications got rejected. People just send in the application form, the W-7, all by itself. Going back to our analogy, that's like showing up to the airport with your plane ticket but no visa. The tax return is the visa. It's the proof you need this number in the first place. You have to submit them together, all. Now here's another little detail that trips up so many people: the huge difference between a notarized copy and a certified one. A notarized copy, where someone just stamps it saying they saw you sign, the IRS will not accept that. What they need is either your actual original document, like your passport, or what's called a certified copy. That's a special copy you have to get directly from the agency that issued the document in the first place. It's a critical difference. Okay, this next mistake isn't just about delays. This one can have some pretty serious financial consequences. It's all about knowing which tax credits you can claim and which ones you absolutely cannot. 2 of the biggest, most valuable tax credits cause the most confusion here. First up, the Earned Income Tax Credit. It's a huge benefit for low-income workers, but it is explicitly not available to ITN filers, period. Second, under the current rules, the Child Tax Credit requires that the child has a Social Security number. Claiming these credits when you're not eligible will not only get your return kicked back, it could mean you end up owing the IRS a lot of money down the road. All right, our final category of common mistakes is all about the details. The kind of stuff that's easy to overlook but can stop an application dead in its tracks. So, did you know your ITIN can actually expire? Yep, there's basically a use it or lose it rule. If you go 3 consecutive years without using your ITIN on a federal tax return, it just expires. And a lot of people don't realize this, so they try to file with an expired number, and that just creates a huge mess and major delays. And this one might seem obvious, but you would be shocked at how often it's an issue. Every single piece of information you put on your application has to match your supporting documents, like your passport, exactly. I don't mean close, I mean perfectly. Any little difference in your name, your date of birth, your country of citizenship, that's an immediate red flag for the IRS, and your application will get bounced. Okay, we've gone through all the major pitfalls. Enough of what can go wrong. Let's pivot and focus on the solutions, the resources out there to help you get this right from the very start. First things first, you can go straight to the source. The IRS actually has a dedicated phone number just for its ITIN unit. If you're stuck, if you have a specific question, or if you just need to check the status of your application, this is your best bet. You're talking directly to the people who handle these forms all day long. Now, if you are nervous about mailing your original passport or birth certificate across the country, and let's be honest, who isn't? You have two fantastic options. You can find a certified acceptance agent, or CAA. These are pros who are authorized by the IRS to check your documents in person and certify them, so you never have to put the originals in the mail. Or you can make an appointment at a designated IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center, and they can do the exact same thing for you. So we've walked through all the hurdles and the solutions. It's pretty clear that an ITIN is so much more than just a number. For a lot of people, it's an absolutely critical tool for following tax law and even for getting access to basic financial services. Which brings us to a final, bigger question to think about. For a system that's designed to help people comply with the law, is the process itself just creating too many barriers? It's definitely something worth thinking about.